rivers were born to meander. Free-flowing rivers was always the intent of creation. We are here on ancient lands, Cowlitz lands. This magnificent land should be a sacred area for salmon, for all of the river life, but it was interrupted.
Yeah, the Cowlitz got involved when we first examined this site back in 2017. It was brought to my attention that there was a dam in the upper Washougal drainage. This is where I lived as a kid growing up, and I still live nearby. I eventually came to conclude it was the Campfire Girls' Kwoneesum Dam. It was built for recreation for the Campfire Girls back in 1964-65.
The camp was open 18 summers from 68 to 86, but I missed the first 2. So 16 summers pretty much I was here. That's the first group of girls in 1968 getting off the bus. Everything we did at camp was centered around the lake. Swimming and canoeing and rowing and sailing. This is me and my best friend Holly, again, the one that was in the canoe with me. I have so many wonderful memories here. I'm there, and this is a bunch of my kids.
The story gets more interesting when the tribe got involved. They facilitated with the Columbia Land Trust and helped fund purchasing the property with the intent of taking out the dam.
It wasn't really on our radar until Pete brought it to us. And as soon as he brought it to us, we could see the potential and how it fit into the larger conservation effort that we had going here.
The Columbia Land Trust came in and ultimately acquired the property, and we had kind of a deal where the land trust would buy the property and the tribe would be responsible for the dam removal. It's also the headwaters of the Washougal River. So this is an area with climate change coming on, that the headwaters are really the areas where fish are going to go to take refuge. They tend to be more resilient, and they also have great sources of cold water. The reservoir that was built with the dam was allowing the water to superheat. We had record temps going over 78 degrees, which is lethal for salmonids. Summer steelhead in the Washougal River are not doing real well. They're ESA listed. There's not a ton of fish coming back to the West Fork. And our hope here is to see new recruits coming back, utilizing this new habitat.
Well, fish are a first food. That's what makes us healthy and happy people. We want to be able to ensure that that food will be here for the future generations of our tribe and for the greater community as well.
On behalf of Columbia Land Trust, it is an honor to be collaborating with Cowlitz Indian Tribe on this project.
A big, mighty welcome from the Cowlitz Indian Tribe. Welcome to our cathedral. It is under repair.
Some people like to say, oh, isn't this beautiful when they get here? But that's not the way a lot of us see it. This is our ancestral lands, and we're bringing it back to the way it should be. I think the Columbia Land Trust, they're great partners, and without them, we wouldn't be able to be doing this.
Well, we can start at the beginning. I guess what I would call the beginning is the Yakult burn. So this area was burned, and then this area was logged. And part of the challenge of this site is that they had splash dams where they cut the trees, they build a dam essentially with logs, and then they blow that up and it flushes. And so Wildboy Creek has really been scoured to bedrock, and so it's got those scars from those historic events.
We're essentially lifting the whole creek up so that it's not just bedrock. We have a nice layer of boulders, gravel, cobble. A lot of that was washed out 120 years ago. What we're doing is bringing that back for better water quality and more sustainable fishery. So I think in 5 or 10 years, you can see a a natural river that was a lot closer to what it was 120 years ago before the splash dam era.
Non-stop until it's done. We're about midway in the project, so we've got Wildboy Creek, 25 of 30-something structures complete downstream. We've completed spillway removal, and we've begun cutting new channels within the reservoir so we can create fish passage all the way up Wildboy through the dam footprint and to the tributaries above our project site.
When you're taking out a dam, a 55-foot tall, 425-foot wide earth embankment dam, there's a lot of uncertainty. So design and being able to roll with fit in the field, and as things progress, being able to change on the fly with your engineering team, with your contractor, with the tribe on site daily, has been quite a process.
Columbia Land Trust was instrumental in this project in allowing us to move forward with these huge restoration designs that was looking at removal of a high-risk dam, but also restoring access for fish passage to 6.5 miles of habitat upstream. Without Columbia Land Trust and having them on board as a partner, I don't think we'd be here today.
The best kind of conservation is collaboration, because you get to bring in multiple values and make sure that you're building something resilient. We really just look forward to continuing to work with Cowlitz on learning from them about what they know and what they do best, and we'll continue to work with them.
We Cowlitz are grateful. The Salmon Nation was finally heard through us. We can't thank our partners enough so that we, Cowlitz, could take down that dam.
It's incredible. It's emotional for me personally, because as a Native person, I understand the significance of this. This is why we do what we do in the agency. This is one of those projects that you just go, man, I'm glad we're a part of it.
We all shared a dream, and so here's the realization of that dream. So not only for me, but I'm sure it's a dream of the ancestors to see this come back.
From the beginning of time, the salmon said, "We will be here for your survival." And we said, "We will protect you." And that's what we're doing.
We've essentially built a whole bunch of luxury condos for these fish to use for spawning and for rearing. It's abound with wood and all the habitat that they need, all the resources they need to really exploit this area and then hopefully build that population. And so now we have to wait for the fish to see it and find it and smell it and come back in here and utilize the new habitat that's here.
Oh my goodness, I want to come back and see salmon in the creek down there.
Taking the dam out is only one portion, and then there's years of work ahead of us to achieve that ecosystem resilience. But once we start to shade this up, the water will cool significantly because we're at the upper watershed, and that will flow downstream all the way to the Columbia River.
Being out here and hearing the water is my favorite part. Hearing that water spilling over those logs that we placed and knowing this system is open for fish access, there's nothing better.